Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. Today we're looking at a new psalm, Psalm 19. This is a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful psalm. Matter of fact, C.S. Lewis, the great Christian writer of yesteryear, made this statement about it. He said that this psalm is the greatest poem in the Psalms and one of the greatest lyrics in the world. Matter of fact, the Christian and Church lectionary assigns this psalm to be read on Christmas Day when the Son of Righteousness came into the world, Malachi 4:2, and the living Word was laid in the manger. The emphasis in this psalm, of course, is on the revelation of God in creation and in His Word. I love what Spurgeon said. He said this song divides itself specially into three parts, well described by the translators in the ordinary heading of our version. It, of course, was a psalm of David. We read, "To the chief musician, a psalm of David." The title tells us that. So David wrote this psalm. He possibly wrote it maybe when he was a young lad on the hillsides of Bethlehem, on the hills of Judea, on the starry nights, looking up into the stars and thinking about God's creation. It's very, very evident that David immersed himself in the study of two great books, the book of creation and the book of Revelation, the law of Moses. David knew them well, and he knew them both. And he studied and believed and accepted the God of creation and the God of revelation. And Spurgeon went on to say, "This creatures show the glory of God," in verses 1 through 6. "The Word shows His grace," verses 7 through 11. And David prays for grace, verses 12 through 14. Thus praise and prayer are mingled. And he who sings the work of God in the world without pleads for a work of grace within. Oh, what a beautiful introduction to this great psalm. So we know David wrote it. He wrote it about God's creation, showing forth who God is, and he wrote it about the Word of God, showing who God's it and who God is and how we need His wonderful grace. I've loved reading and memorizing this psalm over the years, and it speaks deeply to all of our hearts, reminding us that there is a God. While the world is proclaiming there is no God, or is living as if there is no God, every night the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows His handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line has gone throughout all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them He has set a tabernacle for the sun, which is like a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoices like a strong man to run its race. Its rising is from the one end of heaven, and its circuit to the other end, and there's nothing hidden from its heat. Oh, I love how David likens God's creation like a bridegroom coming out of this chamber. He comes out beautifully adorned and just dressed in great splendor. And then he also runs like a strong man in its race. In other words, he speaks of God's glory and splendor, and at the same time the creation speaks of the power, the creative power of God. Oh, how we ought to respond to it. Romans chapter 1, we read how man, instead of worshiping the Creator, has begun to worship the creation and the creatures of the creation. Oh, my friend, this verse and these chapters teach us we should worship the God of revelation, the God who created the earth. And He is alive and He is real. And His voice and the voice of creation and the speech of creation goes to the ends of the earth. It's always evident to everyone, everywhere, there is a God. Eternity is in our hearts, and all we have to do is look up at night in the stars and see the infinite grace and mercy and greatness of God and know that He cares for us and loves us. Oh, my friend, what a great chapter. We're going to enjoy studying and looking at it the next few days, and I trust you'll be blessed. God bless you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.